Alright, so made some upgrades, removed the bulletproof glass and put in dart traps. They are wired into these motion sensors, which, as you can see, are pointed down into the corner. There's really no way to tighten that range up, so they will catch the areas where the zombies won't get hit by them. I'm still not entirely sure I want the traps there, or if I want to set up some system down here where they shoot either like through here or across like this or something. Not really sure yet. I still got to work that out. Part of that will also come from having to move this layer up one more layer. So we'll see how this goes tonight and just see how it does. So repairing the base defenses after the last horde, I think it was like 200 forged steel was all it took to repair everything. And again, as you can see, they can jump up, but they can't get in. And then with the dart traps shooting downward, you'll have everything covered. The one thing I did not notice right away, but when that cop exploded into the other cop, he actually almost took out the wood back here. One of these was completely down to the empty frame like that, and then the ones on the other side of each side of it were damaged. So once I got that repaired, everything was good. So I split up these dart trap. There's 24 of them. I put 12 on a switch, each switch, and then each switch is brought out here to each one of these battery banks, which, as you can see here, I've got roughly 270 watts. Each dart trap is only 10 watts if I remember correctly, so it's 120 watts plus the switch. And yep, there we go. Alright, so let's go ahead and get up into our little cubbyhole. So again, up here, just got the two junk turrets facing into each other for birds whenever I pop my head up here. Haven't changed these setups at all, which I don't know why everything's freaking out on me. So yeah, that's all the same. Alright, so down here into the murder hole. So it looks a bit different now. So each quadrant has its own switch. Then the dart traps are wired into these two switches here. And they are set up on the motion sensor, so they will never actually draw all full 120 plus watts. So it's not something you really have to worry about. I would say probably about 80 watts max would all you would get, depending on which type of horde setup you got going. So let's see here. So I just stocked them all with 1500 darts each. I don't really see the need for that. I would say 500 in each one just to get started. And then as the night progresses, you could just add them to the ones that they're coming through, and you could just rotate them through. I just did this to be lazy. And one thing you may notice is my inventory looks a little different, and I have basically level 6 items now. So when I was playing around in the creative menu, I accidentally deleted my entire inventory because I thought the little recycle bin was, for single ice what was on your cursor, and I've since discovered that it deletes everything in your inventory. So I sat here going back and forth trying to find my level 5 weapons, and as you can see, it was all level 1, level 2, and then I got a level 6, so I just gave up and grabbed it. I did see the console command to give myself an item and be able to set the quality, but I just noticed that like 10 minutes ago, so whatever. There were some other items that I had here. I don't remember what they are, and I just remembered repair kit was one of them, and I don't remember what the rest were, but it doesn't really matter anymore. I'm not really playing this playthrough anymore. This is just a testing game now, so let's see here. Alright, let's just go ahead and get the defenses turned on. And also, one thing I forgot to mention is obviously I set the motion sensors to zombies. It does default to self and allies, so just something to be aware of when you're setting these up is always make sure to take yourself off. Otherwise, they will trigger on you. Alright. Get the dart traps armed. Now again, I'm just going to stick with my trusty baseball bat with fire mod, just to see everything. See how things go. So for the rest of the base, I didn't change anything. It's all the same setup as all the previous builds. I repaired some of the grates where the cop exploded also. Aside from that, just touched up some of the concrete. And yeah. So let's see how this one goes. So I gave myself 3 or 4 more levels. I forget exactly how many. And game stage is now 160. I thought it was 177 before. So it's possible I either turn the game stage down or something else. I don't know. I'll have to go back and watch that video. Alright, so we got big mamas. Neither one of them made it inside though. Oh, I hear dart traps. And the one thing I did want to mention is the dart traps are set up over the jump area right here. I considered moving them out to over that empty space right there, but then if they jump up, they won't get hit, and that's really what I want them for. Now, moving them out over the blade trap would prevent them from doing the jump in the first place. But if for some reason you got like 2 or 3 radiated cops stacking up on each other, you really want the traps hitting the ones jumping up, not the ones being standing down there. Ooh, nice. I'm getting lots of radiateds already. Quite a few cops already. No radiated cops though. I did see a radiated biker guy. Oh, there's another one. Alright, so let's take a look. Alright, so it looks like we actually are going to have to put the dart traps out over that empty area, because if you noticed, he wasn't getting hit by them when he jumped up. So I think what we could do is we could put him out right here at this level. So we replace those lights. No, that's not going to work either. Alright, so I think if we put them on that row right there, and then I'd have to remove that ramp structure right there. But I think that would work out quite well, to be honest. We'll have to replace the lights and move them somewhere else, probably like in here. And then what I do is I would put the bulletproof glass back up, since they took up this spot right here. And just see how it goes. So the one downside to the setup is whenever the camera triggers, it triggers 3 dart traps at once. So in this setup you're wasting quite a bit of ammo, but there's really no way around it right now. It's just the way the motion sensors work. So I'm hearing quite a few cops dying on the outer defenses. And I was considering putting the dart traps out there and just targeting them down a single alleyway, and just put 1 dart trap on each alleyway with a motion sensor directly above it. That would increase the damage ratio to them getting this far inward, and then allowing the blade traps to just kind of finish them off. But the downside of doing that is you can't reload. Now I was considering a design change that would allow me to actually run out and restock any traps that I have on the outer wall and the inner wall. But to do that, you'd have to use steel truss, and then you'd have to modify this design, because what you would need to do is you would need a walkway that isn't attached to any of this exterior structure that you could run through, look down, and, you know, replace and talk and activate stuff. So it would take quite a bit of design effort to do that, and I'm not really sure it'd be worth it. So like right now, I haven't had to do any extra work. I really should be helping out, especially because, you know, like the biker guys like this, they can actually get away. But I'm curious to see how this works out. Alright. I'm really hoping we finally get a demo. We've been a fairly constant rate of radiated zombies now. Still haven't seen a radiated cop though, which I think you should see a radiated cop before a demo, but I'm not entirely positive in the way the gaming spawning mechanic works yet. That would just be, in my opinion, be something you should see, is radiated cops before you see a demo. But again, I don't know. Alright, so let's take a look here. So we've blown through roughly 300 darts in the areas that they've been attacking from. So I really think if I move these dart traps out to that layer right there, it'll actually help considerably. The only thing I'm concerned about is the support structure may not be able to hold the concrete by removing those few ramp blocks. So what I may end up doing is leaving those spots open so there's no dart traps there, and just putting them on the outside wall. Because one of the mistakes I made when I was first building this is I didn't have those ramp sections, and I didn't have these pillars right here. I just had these three, and what happened was I placed that ladder piece right there. The entire inner structure collapsed in on me, and yeah, that was fun because that was all reinforced concrete that I had to dig out and then repair. Now, for where I was at in the game stage, it wasn't a big deal. It was just time, but still, it's rather obnoxious to have to, you know, drill out this reinforced concrete scrap and then put it back up. So yeah, I want to say that I must have turned down the skill level back down to adventure, the default. I want to say last time it was at Nomad, which I believe is level 2, because this is feeling much easier than the last time. Aside from those 2 or 3 rated bikers, I haven't actually had to do anything. So I would say the dart traps are doing their work. I just think they would do a lot better work out there on that outer column. So I think for the next Horde night, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these down and move them out in between the ramp pillars. Ooh, I think I just heard a demo. Yep, I hear a demo. There he is. Hi, how you doing? Alright, there we go. So I think with the dart traps moved out and then the bulletproof glass put back up, this will pretty much set your base defenses. And then, like I said, just loading them with 500 in each trap, just to conserve ammo, and then you can refill them as needed when they move from side to side. But yeah, there you go. This base defense system will hold out quite well. So the only thing I'm curious about as to how much damage the demo did to the steel down there, which, let's see if we can take a look at it. Nope. Alright, I can't get an angle on it. Or maybe, can I? Saw something come up. Alright, so let's see if we stand back this time. See if he tries to jump. Alright, so that's from the biker jumping up, which is just to be expected. I don't hear him beating too much on the structure, so this should be interesting. So he is just sitting there on that corner. So we'll have to use the moving trick. I think that blade trap might have been disabled. Let's see here. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's spinning anymore. Alright, so we're gonna have to use the corner trick. Alright, we got a radiated white. That's good. And he just seems to be stuck on the ledge right there. So he should be getting from those dart traps while he's standing there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put blade traps there, and then in these corner pieces I'm going to leave these blade traps and put the bulletproof glass back up, so that will catch them when they try to stand on that corner piece. I've seen quite a few of them now just stand there and do that. Ooh, you know, I bet you that blade trap got destroyed. Because we should be at least be able to see one of the blades. Alright. So the rest of the blade traps still seem to be in good condition. I hear a couple that are probably 1,000 damaged or more. But everything else looks good. Yeah, I bet you that blade trap got completely destroyed. Alright, so let's see, any of these? Yep. Alright. So a couple of them are pretty close to, yep, over a full stack. These ones are just under a full stack. These ones have barely been used. Alright, so they totally overloaded that one section over here. Now the one nice thing is you can pay attention to the motion sensors. They will actually move and track what comes into their field of vision. So if you just want to sit up here and not do anything, you can kind of watch those and see where they're coming from. The other thing I was thinking about doing is putting blade traps pointed down, so like replacing the wooden middle section there, and then putting a motion sensor to look down the hallway, so that way when they start walking in, the trap would start firing. Now I'm not entirely sure if I could focus it well enough, because it would probably catch them on the other hallways. So I could probably manage it for just these two hallways right here in each quadrant. I don't think I could manage it for these other smaller ones. But, you know, on the other thing, I could just put all three wired into the same one, put it right down the center, and then just, you know, deal with the waste, because it's not really that big of a deal. The darts are 3 iron and 1 clay per dart, and I just took a quick look at what I have smelted in the forge right now, and currently I could process almost 9,000 darts, which sounds like a lot until you realize it's 1,500 times 24 right now, because I completely filled them up. I did use the creative menu to build all this, because I just didn't feel like wasting the time to actually go through and do all that, because I've just been advancing the game 1 week and then giving myself a million experience. You know, as I said earlier, I can easily mine 40, 50, 60,000 iron in a single night. So it's not that big of a stretch for me to do this with the creative menu, especially since our repair costs have been so minimal. So basically what I would be doing spending solo is I would spend one entire game day, so a game hour, or I should say a real life hour, just doing nothing but mining. And then I could spend the other 6 hours, you know, questing, doing whatever, having fun. So as far as things go, like keeping this base repaired and stocked, you're talking 1 hour real time of just mining, which isn't that big of a deal, especially at this game stage. And there we go. There's morning time. Alright, so let's take a look here. So right now I'm just over 5,000 enemy kills. Again, game stage is only 160, because I'm pretty sure that got turned down somehow. Level is 79, but we did see our first sets of demos, which proves the design. So everything worked well. So let's go ahead and get everything shut off. And let's go take a look and see what damage was done. Alright, so let's get our recharge back on. So one thing I have noticed, so if you're using the solar panels to recharge your batteries, you honestly only ever need one solar cell. And the reason for that is, you see how here when you turn it on, it has a max output of 54 watts, but power draw is only 6 watts. The reason for that is they will only max charge a battery bank at 5 watts. That 1 extra watt is it's powering the switch downstairs. So there really is no need to even have more than just like a level 1 or a level 2 solar array. You don't need like this one where it has 6 level 6, because as you can see, it maxes out at 180 watts max output, but since I'm only using it for charging the battery banks, it's only using 1 or 6 watts, and a level 1 solar panel can easily provide that for a recharge. So there's really no reason to save up your money and buy the level 5 or level 6 solar cells if all you're doing with them is just doing what I'm doing here, which is charging batteries in between horde nights. Alright, so let's go take a look. So, alright, so I'm not seeing any damage up here. Everything still looks good. So they never touched this top structure. Alright, so let's take a look at the inner structure. So that one's half damage, no damage at all, no damage, no damage, no damage, no damage, very light damage. Alright, so, yep, no damage. So this must be the corner that they were only barely came in, and yep, there you go. So they completely destroyed that blade turret and did a fair amount of damage to this corner piece here, which, as you can see, if I were to put down the dart trap right here, so I could put one there and here, and that would catch them as they're trying to do this. Alright, so that is definitely something that we'll have to upgrade. And like I said here, this is where they were jumping up because I was standing right there and they were sitting here beating on it. So that was a fair amount of damage. Yep. Alright, so the strategy works. This is a very viable defense even with demos and radiated. The only things that you need to be aware of is your dart trap placement and standing inside your pyramid. You want to stay on the other side and allow them to path around, because you don't want to overload the one defense and let them build up and do like this damage here. Alright, so I think we're just going to cut the video out here and see you guys later.